Back in 1847, an artist named James McNeill Whistler depicted the state of Ireland in a series of paintings called The Irish Famine, giving us a glimpse of what Ireland was going through. The streets were packed with dead bodies, and mothers were literally begging for any bit of bread to keep their hungry kids going. It was a total mess. Poverty, hunger, despair, and death everywhere. So, the Great Hunger, or as some call it, the Potato Famine, wiped out 1 million Irish people in just 7 years. Like 11% of Ireland's whole population gone. The aftermath was brutal. Even a century later, Ireland was still struggling, stuck in poverty and lagging behind. Fast forward to today, if you look at the list of the richest countries in the world, you will find Ireland in second place. How did a country that was on the brink of starvation and death become so filthy rich in just a few decades? The truth is, it's not as easy as it might look. Let's rewind to the 19th century, back when life in Ireland was seriously tough. Ireland was under the control of the British Empire, and they were milking it for all it was worth. The Irish people were treated as second-class citizens. Ireland's economy was 90% dependent on agriculture, and about 80% of the land in Ireland was used to grow a single crop, which was potatoes. In the 17th century, Ireland was the first region in Europe to cultivate potatoes. This was the crop that caused Ireland's population to grow faster than anywhere else in Europe. In 1700, Ireland's population was 3 million. It grew to 5 million over the next 100 years, and by 1846, just before the famine, Ireland's population had reached 8 million. That's a population growth rate of 286% in just 150 years, and it was all due to potatoes. Back in the day, 1 acre of potatoes and the milk from a cow could keep a whole Irish family fed. Since it was easy to grow and you could get a lot of it, potatoes and milk became the go-to grub for every family in Ireland. But relying on just one type of food made Ireland so vulnerable. The entire Irish population counting on one food source. Then bam! In 1845, the potato blight hit and the potato crops went down the drain. And let me tell you, it wasn't just a minor setback. It was a catastrophe. People began to die in the millions. It was a real tragedy. You might not get how much of a big tragedy this was, and Ireland has yet to recover from its effects. Let me give you an example. Back in 1840, Ireland had around 8 million people. Then, in 1845, this serious famine slammed into Ireland, wiping out like 40% of their potato harvest. 1 year later, in 1846, the entire potato crop got wiped out. Imagine what would happen if you had only one thing to eat and it was all gone. During a tough time, the British Empire didn't lend a hand to Ireland. From 1845 to 1855, Ireland lost 3 million people. Out of these, 1 million passed away from hunger and sickness, and the other 2 million left Ireland for America. America saw the biggest wave of immigration in just 10 years. In 1860, a whopping 81% of new Americans were Irish. This loss was so significant that even after 200 years, Ireland hasn't been able to fill that gap in population. That's why Ireland stands alone in Europe and the world today, with a much smaller population compared to 1840. The famine lasted for 6 years, but Ireland's troubles didn't stop there. On December 6, 1921, Ireland gained independence from the British Empire. However, just a decade later, in 1931, it was hit hard again, this time by the Great Depression. During this tough period, Ireland was pretty much isolated from the rest of the world, and its relationship with Britain wasn't great. This caused a deep crisis in its economy. The Great Depression wreaked havoc on the world's economies, affecting everyone except for one country, the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union couldn't use international banks because it took control of things and focused on its own economy, so it wasn't hit hard by this problem. The leaders of Ireland began to copy the example of the Soviet Union. Large companies were nationalised and imports were banned in order to protect local industry. However, all this had a very negative impact on the Irish economy. The country didn't have its own resources, and it wasn't like the rest of Europe with big industries. Stopping imports made it harder to get materials, and in just 10 years, things got so bad that 500,000 Irish people left. After World War II, while the rest of Europe got better, Ireland got poorer. But things were about to shake up. Back in 1960, the Prime Minister of Ireland, Sean Lemmas, teamed up with the well-known Irish economist T.K. Whitaker. They decided it was high time to give the economy a makeover, and together they cooked up a plan that would alter Ireland's fate. The government took back companies and then sold them again. To lure in foreign businesses, they scrapped taxes for those companies. They also opened the gates for imports. They carved out a free zone where no company had to pay taxes. Ireland pooled money from big-shot business people and used it to construct an airport in this tax-free zone, linking it to the rest of the world. This area is called the Shannon Free Zone, and it's known as the first ever modern free trade zone in the world. In just 6 years, these rules made a big difference in Ireland's economy. While business people in other parts of Europe were stressing over higher taxes, Ireland looked like a dream place because they didn't have any taxes. Big companies like Intel and Gacas began moving their production to Ireland. Ireland did well economically. Then, Ireland aimed to join the European Economic Union. In 1967, Ireland did something cool. They gave everyone free education. The government paid for school, even university, and also for books. Ireland started changing slowly. But in 1970, there was a problem. After the Arab-Israeli War, there were oil sanctions. This messed up the UK and the whole Western world. Banks failed, businesses closed, and people lost jobs. Ireland was ready for this crisis though. To be better than the rest of Europe, Ireland made some more laws. They lowered income tax from 20% to 10%. Getting and letting go of workers became simpler for bosses. Unlike the rest of Europe, where businesses had to give employees advance pay and notice before firing them, Ireland scrapped all those rules. This move made Ireland look like a place where businesses could easily operate. In the following 20 years, Ireland went through a big change. The story of cities worldwide was being written in Ireland, with billions of dollars pouring in. The real game changer, though, was 1993, when the European Union introduced the single market. That opened up Ireland to the entire world. Thanks to no taxes, a friendly atmosphere, and strong law enforcement, big companies from around the globe began setting up shop in Ireland. Back in the 1990s and early 2000s, lots of companies from other countries decided to invest in Ireland. The amount of money they put in went up from 2.2% to 49.2% in just 10 years. Because of these companies, many jobs were created. Taxes were low, salaries were high, and people had more money to spend. When people spent more, the economy grew, and that led to more companies coming in. It became like a big cycle of investment. The government had so much money that it spent a lot on building things like roads and helping people. By 2007, Ireland became the third richest country in Europe, with more money per person than in Britain. Even though Britain ruled Ireland for 150 years, now Ireland was richer. It's kind of like a revenge story. Ireland's story shows that no matter how tough things get, there's always a way up. Being poor doesn't have to be your destiny. If you're honest, work hard, and plan things well, you can change your situation. Nowadays, Ireland is a place where companies pay less tax. In 2015, Apple moved $300 million from the US to Ireland to avoid paying taxes. Ireland is attractive to businesses all over the world because of its smart workers, good infrastructure, and low crime rates. And this attractiveness is soon going to make it the richest country in the world.